being here first off, and I missed it, but congratulations to Coach Gaddis again for being presented the Burroughs Award. Certainly that's the highest honor you could have as an assistant coach, and he's certainly been a game changer for us since his arrival from a lot of different standpoints, from a cultural standpoint, a schematic standpoint, his credibility, his ability to teach and motivate. His scheme really fits the footprint of our recruiting area. It really does. So really congrats, super happy for him, and really excited for what's to come. So wrapped up practice number 14. You know, you are relegated to helmets and spider pads 3 times throughout the spring, and today we had to use one of those on spider pads and helmets. But for us, it's still a full practice and it's still full speed. We just stay off the ground. We concentrated heavily on 2-minute, third and medium and long, a little bit of red zone work, and finish off with 2-minute. It was competitive. We improved, and we've improved throughout the spring. Certainly, we're going to keep talking about the things that we want to get better at, especially as it relates to physicality. Consistency. You know, I thought a guy that's really worth mentioning, Rashard Smith, I mean, really just these last 3-4 practices turned the corner. I'd rather when he was going off the field, because it was noticeable what a difference he made for the offense. Okay, and he's physical. He's a tough guy. Xavier Restrepo has been doing it all spring long. Really been a game changer for us. And outside, we got to get more consistent. Have some big plays, but we got to get more physical, more durable, but more consistent, because we flash big play capabilities, and there is progress. We got to get better. Credit to the entire team for pushing through a regimen that's very different. Certainly one that we knew we were going to have to push through, that we're going to have to guide our guys and mentor them through. And we responded fairly well. We still got to get better. You know, we're still going to push more. We're going to challenge more, because that's what it takes. And certainly your off season, or I should say your season, is going to be a reflection of your off season and your DNA and your standards and all that stuff. So we intend to take these next 3 days to elevate our standards of preparation as we get ready for our scrimmage, our spring game on Saturday.
We heard last week that you had to stop practice at one point, recharge the energy, I guess. How often have you had to do that, and have the players responded to that kind of course correction?
Well, I mean, that was the only time I had to do it in spring ball, but you want it to be player-led, but at the same time, there's no time to get frustrated. We're doing something different, and I don't judge, man. I don't judge what happened before. I really, I'm like a care less. So I don't ever want a player to think that anything that was done before was wrong or different. We're just doing things a certain way that has stood the test of time as it relates to success. Success on the field, off the field, during seasons, post-college careers, and it's demanding. I mean, it requires your discipline, because there's going to be days where your motivation may not be there, but your discipline's got to push you through and carry you through. So because the program and the regimen is that demanding, it tests you. And every single day we're intent on passing that test. So every single day for us, everything we do has a purpose, has an intention. That's just kind of the way we roll.
And how much do you think the team has kind of adapted to what you want them to do over the course of the last 14 practices?
Well, it's not what I want, it's what we want, It's what we want as a team, as an organization. And we met one-on-one, and then as a team, I mean, our meetings were very almost identical. We all want more discipline, right? We want more accountability. And what does that come with? That's about as subtle as, getting, I mean, it's hard. It's hard, and the response has been really good. And then in the moments where we fatigue and, our bodies and our mind are starting to give in a little bit, we have found ways to get through. We just got to find ways to push through. And that's a big difference, right? Being able to crank it up and push through and then excel and be able to overtake an opponent. And we got to get there. You can talk about that all you want and show it on film all you want. Until you practice it and do it out there on a consistent basis, it's not going to become game reality. So those are real points of emphasis of our practice.
I know there's a separation, sort of a church and state thing with NIL, but it's become obviously a big factor throughout college football, big factor in Miami. 4 of your players have cars for the next few years. How much can you sell that? There's a lot to sell about Miami already, obviously, Mario. How much can you sell NIL when meeting with recruits? How much is that entering your thinking now, as far as how much to emphasize that when you go into the homes of recruits?
Well, I mean, football is changing, and like anything else in life, you adapt to how things change. I think it's really neat that guys can, profit off of their name, image, and likeness, I think it sells itself. I mean, let's call it what it is. And I can go and grab statistical information that will blow people away on, the financial capabilities of a city like Miami, its alumni, and how well it's doing in the NIL world. But I think that's already out there. I think that, has been advertised and has been highlighted. So I like to focus on the other stuff, because that is a piece of it and it's reality. So we don't ignore it, but I think it's obvious to the rest of the world. If you want to compare what's being done here everywhere else, I think it's pretty obvious. Miami's, blowing people away, and not by a little. Now, the combination of having the opportunity to get a private school education and being coached by some of these assistant coaches, I still walk in the door and I'm like, whoa, that's Charlie Strong. Damn. He's here as a co-coordinator coaching our line. There's Kevin Steele, and there's Salavea, and there's Mirabal, there's Josh Gaddis, there's Kevin Smith. I mean, Coach Ponce. I mean, it goes on and on and on. I don't want to leave out anybody. There's a Jason Taylor. I mean, it's a couple gold jackets walking around. There's a couple of NFL players, some high-level coaches walking around. And the best part is that they do this. So that combination, along with the people, the networking system, the alumni here, a private school education, living in Coral Gables, which, I mean, I remember driving around in a '68 Impala, trying my whole life to get to Coral Gables, and it was really hard. So, but being able to go to school here and being part of a community like this, it's unmatched. So instead of bragging about it, or you just show it, you show facts so that people understand that we're working really hard to show what we have, and we focus on selling us and stay away from negative recruiting others.
Let's do a few more for Coach Cristobal.
Spring game, knowing it's on TV.
Right.
Gary was asking Gaddis about how do you strike the balance between. I mean, I'm sure you're not going to show that much, but what do you guys get out of it? What are you expecting, and knowing everybody's watching? How do you play that?
Well, just like we do anything. I mean, we always say that, right? How you do anything is how you do everything. And football is in phases. This is a spring football phase, and we're closing it. And how we close this will determine how we start the off-season phase. So this is a full throttle approach for us. We're practicing for game day, from the way we treat our bodies tonight, what we put in them, to our film session, to our walkthrough, to how we go to class, what time we get to bed, the psychological part of it, the approach to it, the bus ride over there, all that stuff will be treated just like game day, and we'll play the first half just like a game. We got to play football. We have to practice and get really, really good at football. So that's the plan for right now. In terms of schematically what we will show, I mean, you'll be in some base stuff that I'm sure people have seen before, and nothing that you wouldn't be able to get off of film if you have film on us, and everybody does, right? You have an entire summer, but will we get deep into detail in some of the real intricate parts of our scheme? No one will do that, nobody does. So, but you want to see who can block and tackle, throw and catch and run, and all that other stuff, and that's what we want to do. We're not trying to win the drill. We're trying to have a really successful, competitive day where guys can get better and we can improve our football team.
How do you organize the teams? Is it going to be like an orange versus green? How are you basically?
It'll be offense versus defense. We'll kick off to start the whole thing. After that, special team involvement will be more punt and field goal oriented. All right, we won't have much after the first kickoff. We won't do much in terms of the return game and the kickoff game. It'll be more punt. We'll have our field goal team ready to roll, our field goal block team ready to roll, but everything else we'll be playing live football with full officiating crew and everything.
And we're talking to Jaleel, Jakari, and
Jacory.
Cyrus Moss, a couple freshmen. How would you evaluate how the freshmen have grown over the course of spring practice?
Oh, they've grown. They've grown. The guy that really flashed today was Jacory. Actually, the last 3 days, man, he was, wow, impressive. And everything he did, decision making, accuracy, his temperament, his presence at the line of scrimmage was outstanding. Jaleel's had an outstanding spring. I mean, he's gained, he looks like he's 190 pounds. He's 232 pounds, and he's the entire spring he's taken reps with twos. And the same thing with Cyrus Moss. Cyrus Moss, to be able to qualify just in time, get on out here, coming weighing, 199 pounds, 200 pounds. He's put on about 10 pounds and has been thrown into every single package, taken on double teams with a senior-laden tackle tight end box. That's a lot, and he's done exceptionally well. So super proud of those guys. Those guys are going to be great players for the Hurricanes.
Just a big picture recruiting question. I know the spring, it's early in the cycle.
Right.
But it does lay the groundwork kind of for the rest of the cycle. Are you pleased with the guys that have been rolling through excited about the groundwork that's being laid recruiting-wise here?
Yeah, recruiting, we're excited every single day. I mean, the plan is to make sure that people have a chance to come on campus. And look, it's a little bit different is that we want people here watching us practice. We want people here watching us work, the energy of our team, the teaching style of our coaches, how our players respond. Also, we want them to see our players and how they fit, you know? We're very transparent and very honest, but I mean, we can go to a 5-star restaurant across the street, right? And sit down and just stuff our bellies and talk about the fluff stuff, but that's not what makes, a great college choice, It's got to be the people, it's got to be the regiment, it's got to be the resources. And the best way to start it off is for them to actually watch us in action, understanding that, that's going to be a large part of your experience here. Your position coach, your coordinator, your head coach, the strength coaches, the medical staff, right? And then, of course, all the academic stuff that we do later in the day. So we're always hungry to have more people on campus. We've had a ton of guys roll through, and we are going to continue to do that.